Alrighty then, on to log number 5. So, in the previous session, I learned how to create a simple little title screen so that I can, focus on other things. Now, I need to make a scene change, but before that, I need to find out how to even register a key press on these engines in the first place. So, let's get started. Alright, and let us start with Unity, as always. So in order to get Unity to register user input, I need to put in the input system. And on a Mac, we go to Edit, right here, and look for the project settings. Yes, click on it. And it automatically went to Input System Manager because I was looking at this earlier. Speaking of, when I started doing this, I do not remember setting up the input system package for this project before, but this was already set up. Attack, interact, crouch. I don't remember doing any of this. But in any case, my goal is just to make sure this input system package is even available. Yep. So it's here. Close this. Now, next goal. I need to create a script that interacts with my input package manager. So I go down to here under assets, right click or two finger click, go to the top where it says create, and scroll to look for scripting. There. And we want a mono behavior script. Name it title screen script. Yes. And now click on it. Double click on it to open up Visual Studio Code or whatever your editor is. Alright, so now that we've gotten to this area, fascinating, I'll make sure to blur that out. So now we've gotten to this area. We don't need this start script, so we'll delete that. And what we do need is this update. Oh wait, no, we don't need this update. First, we need to add a package. So we go up here under using Unity Engine and type in using. I do not have IntelliSense. Unity Engine dot, look at my notes, input system. Good. Now in input system, there is something called a keyboard thing. But first, before I do that, I need to create a conditional statement. A conditional statement is if something happens. So if in C#, I need these colons to be here. Okay, if keyboard dot current dot enter key. So this is part of the new input system where they use keyboard dot current and then whatever the key is you're trying to get a record of. I could just use, what is it called, key press down and type in enter, but since this is the new system and I'm probably going to use it later, I want to use the new system. So enter key dot was pressed this frame. Okay. Now this is checking if this is true, if the enter key was pressed in this frame. This will only check if the key was pressed once, not continuously, or not press and hold. So what I want done if you press it is debug dot log. Quote, enter pressed. So basically, don't forget to add your semicolons. There we go. So basically, if on the keyboard the current key you press is the enter key, then it should show a message enter pressed. And it should show it in the console.log. So in order to make this work, I need to attach a script to something. I'll attach it to the start game text. Press play. Now go to the console so I can see if things work, and when I press enter, there, enter pressed. The log is done. And when I click on the game screen and press enter any number of times, this number keeps going up to show that it registers every time I click. Okay, and that's how you register input in Unity. Now in Godot, I made a few updates. So the updates include I had to start over and delete things, and I renamed my scene title screen, which is why it's now title screen scene. And speaking of which, let's rename this to title screen, because this control is going to be my scene. So in order to register button click in Godot, we go to project and we go to project settings, and up here at the top is input map. Now what you need to do is make sure that something called a UI accept is there, which if you try to add UI accept, it should tell you this thing already exists. At least it told me that. In any case, show built-in actions, and here it is right here. The UI accept is already mapped to KP enter, so we don't need to set up the input system. You just need to confirm that it exists. So next, what needs to be done is go to the title screen for the scene and add a, wait, can I add script to anything? Oh, I can. But I'm going to add it to the scene anyway. Add to the scene itself. Let's see. Attach script. And title screen.gd, as in a title screen.gd script, inherits from control. I think that's fine. Create. So now this is a GD script that will inherit from the control node. So here's what we need. We need to do func. Func apparently means function. Press space in order to, because as a keyword, anyway, underscore process. Uh-oh, what is this? What is this? I don't know what this is. Okay. Delta, and then the process is if input dot is action just pressed, and the action just pressed is UI accept, colon. This is like Python. If any of you have seen Python, what happens is when you reach the end of a line that is supposed to have other things under it. How do I explain this? Okay, so here's your if statement. You're declaring an if statement. When you're under this colon here is supposed to tell, okay, this is what the if statement is supposed to do if this all is true. Under Python and GD script apparently, you also need to indent one level after a colon like this. Fortunately, it does that for me, so I don't need to worry about that. Speaking of Python, print enter pressed. Okay, I think that should do it. I don't need any brackets or anything like in C#. I don't need to add semicolons like in C# because Python and apparently GDScript do not need that. So let's play. No main scene was defined. Select title screen as the main scene. Open. Okay, so here's my window. Press enter. There, enter was pressed. So this is how you get user input from in Godot. You attach a script that you want and you create a function that is _process. I don't know what any of this means. Delta, I think, has to do with time, so it's registering a time, and it says during this time, if under the input function is action press, the thing, whatever registered to the button you want, and then you print. And for our case, we printed whatever it is that we wanted. Okay, that's it. Okay, we are finally back into GameMaker, and for once, this is not going to be as difficult as, or more difficult than the other two. It's actually going to be quite simple. But understanding GameMaker and how it registers user input is useful as far as teaching you programming vocabulary. So go to the game object that has your title screen stuff. Last time we created a create event to create our X and Y axis variables, a draw event to actually draw the text on the screen. Now we're going to add an event, and the event type is a step event. And the reason why this is necessary is because button click events are called events. So if you know that it's called an event, then you would know, oh, if I want to register button clicks, I need to add an event. Okay, so what do we put inside the step event? Go back to my notes. Nice and easy. Again, if. What is this? What's going on? This app is buggy. If okay. So if I dang. Keyboard check. So check if something on the keyboard is pressed. Specifically, check if I click the virtual key or VK, enter. I assume VK means virtual key. I don't know. But that's how we get enter in this thing. So if always is checking a conditional statement for if something happens. You type in what you want to be true, or I think if I put an exclamation point, it checks it as not true. But we want it to be true. VK enter, we need bracket. And how we get to the log in GameMaker is show debug message. And then in here we put our quotation marks and what we want to be shown, which is enter pressed. Make sure that are we missing something? Let's check. It says the function show debug message exit. Oh, that's wrong. I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. So show debug message, and that should do it. So press play. Move this up a little. So here under output, right here, is where my log is this time. So this time, if I press enter, it should appear down here. Enter pressed. So that is how you get your, that is how you register user input in GameMaker. You have your if statement and you check if the key was pressed and your virtual key, whatever the key was. See, there are other keys. There's delete any key. Oh, VK does mean virtual key. All these keys down here. And then you put your brackets and then what you want to do if that key is pressed. And then you're done. And that's after creating a step event and putting it inside the step event. So what I'm starting to like about GameMaker is that for the different types of stuff that I want done, I can apparently sort these or funnel these inside different events. So if I want, so we might end up seeing the rest of these events later. Who knows? But in any case, that is the end of that. Alright, after all of that, I guess for this specific action, my favorite was GameMaker, surprisingly. The reason is that through Visual Studio Code, my Unity did not have access to IntelliSense despite all the plugins I got in order to try to make IntelliSense work. I still don't understand scenes and such in Godot, but being able to attach events to a specific object in GameMaker was much more intuitive than working with the others, and I got IntelliSense. For those who don't know what IntelliSense is the autocomplete feature, where I can just start typing in something that I know should work, and then the program will show me all the options that contain the words that I typed in. So now that I finally have this click ability in my games, the next thing is to create a scene, a new scene, and register a scene change. So I guess I'll do that next time. Until then, that is all.